things are getting really interesting down at NXT leading up to their next special, February 11th, Takeover. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason. Um, this is going to be a bit of a review of the last episode of NXT. There's some very interesting things that came out of this episode. I don't know if it's going to turn into a weekly thing that I do. There certainly is some good stuff going on down in NXT. I've been a firm supporter of them for the last few years. It's been getting better and better. The quality of the talent, the quality of the matches that are down in Florida right now, in WWE's developmental has really been turning some heads. All right, well, let's get into this. First of all, we have new NXT Tag Team Champions. It's Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. And this was quite the shocker. I don't watch this every week like I should. I did some catching up, and I watched a few episodes in a row, and I saw something online, and I was like, oh my god. So I watched the episode, and yeah, sure enough, new tag champs down in NXT, and it's really interesting why they did this. Usually they do something like this at one of the bigger shows, that they put on, like the Takeover shows. And I'm a little baffled by this, I gotta admit. I don't know if this means that they're going to keep the belts on these guys and they're going to take Sin Cara and Kalisto and put them on the main roster soon, possibly after WrestleMania. That's my thought. I've been saying this for a while. They really need to freshen up the tag team division and the main roster really bad. And the Ascension have been, there's been some positives and negatives about the Ascension being on the main roster. They've been creating some controversy, which, if you go by the old Eric Bischoff rule, controversy creates cash, but not always a good thing. But I think they're doing well up there. They got a long ways to go before they really earn majority of the WWE Universe's fans' respect. They have mine. I think they've been doing great, but we'll see where that goes. But nonetheless, back to NXT. Obviously, at the next Takeover special, we're going to see, I'm assuming, a rematch between these two. It only makes sense to do that for the special. Why they chose to do it this way, I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see, if they keep the belt on this fresh new tag team or not. I do like them though. Ton of charisma. They look like they're pretty good in the ring. I mean, they've only been on TV, a certain amount of times, and but they look like they work good together. They look good together. I dig them. Hopefully they don't give them a horrible tag team name in the near future, but we'll have to see what happens with that. What else is going on? Oh, the tournament for the number one contenders tournament for the NXT title. There were some good matches this week. One, not that the match between Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey was bad. It was just really short and a little shocking. I was really hoping these two would go at it for a while, but boring. Excuse me. Baron Corbin really made short work out of Bull Dempsey. I'd call this a squash match if you ever seen one before. But I don't think this rivalry's done yet. So I think it's far from over. I like these two. The two big, two mountain men in the ring going at it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But these kids are young. I think they're doing it well. The other tournament match between Adrian Neville and Tyson Kidd. Real good match. These two really do shine when they're in the ring together. Adrian Neville came out on top. No big surprise there. So now, next week, it's going to be Finn Balor. I cannot wait to see this. Finn Balor versus Hideo Itami and Adrian Neville versus Baron Corbin. I can't pick a winner. I really can't. So, well, it's easy to pick one. Whether you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. But so it's gonna be really interesting to see where they go with this. You could end up with a match like Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville, or Baron Corbin versus Hideo Itami. And I'm assuming they're going to have this number one contenders match, the final one, at TakeOver. I'm assuming. And maybe that'll start the feud between whoever wins the championship match between, oops, I gave it away, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But before I get into that, I'm going to touch on something else. The NXT Women's Championship match that's going to take place at TakeOver. It's the only other match that's really officially been set up so far. The champion, Charlotte, versus Bayley, versus Sasha Banks, versus Becky Lynch. I almost screwed that up. Sorry. Becky Lynch. And so this is going to be good. I'm really, all four of these girls have been kicking ass. Seems like Bayley is healthy again. She seems to favor the one leg a little bit, but that could be just selling an old injury, maybe, possibly. But yeah, this is setting up nicely because it looks like Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks aren't quite as close as you think they would be. Becky Lynch does the nice little, I'm gonna stand right by your side, and then as soon as you turn your back, I'm gonna kick your ass. It's and the old friendship / feud between Bayley and Charlotte. That's turning into a classic as well. I really enjoy it. And where that one's gonna go, man, I no clue. All four girls are great, and all four would be very deserving of the NXT Women's Championship in my book. Maybe not so much Becky Lynch. She's the newest one out of the four, but hey, they just threw the tag tag belts on, two brand new guys. So who knows? They may give it to Becky Lynch and, shock the world. We'll have to see. And last, but certainly not least, what headlined the show was between the contract signing between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And this is by far my favorite feud going on in the realm of WWE right now. Maybe not in all of wrestling. Well, yeah, pretty close. This has been one I've been waiting for a long time, and they really up the ante for the Takeover special February 11th. In the process of doing the contract signing, Kevin Owens said, "I'm not doing this unless you put that title on the line," because he wants, bigger and better things. He wants more money in his paycheck, and yeah, he's love Kevin Owens, and I love Sami Zayn. This, fans have been wanting to see this for a long time. My only thing that I'm worried about, is that they're rushing this. I don't know how fast of a push both these guys, especially Kevin Owens, is going to get. They just brought him in, a month ago? It was in December, whatever it was. And now, all of a sudden, he's getting a championship shot. Are they going to throw the belt on him and make Sami Zayn go away and or send him up to the main roster? I don't know. It's really hard to say. Kevin Owens is a great wrestler. He's a great character. But I think, would I like to see him as NXT champ? Absolutely. But I think it might be too soon. I think they should have him go through some more rivalries before they, jet stream him to the main roster. As good as some of these guys are, they're building this brand, NXT, and they just to show how popular this brand is growing. I read something recently that NXT is starting to venture out of their home state of Florida. Now, they've had, guys from the NXT roster do dark matches with the main roster, dates around the country, around the world, actually. Some, like Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville going over to the UK and just tearing it up over there, house shows and stuff. But their first actual date by themselves as a brand is set in, I believe it's Ohio, somewhere in Ohio. Is it Cincinnati, Ohio, or Columbus, or I think it's Cincinnati. But anyways, it's in Ohio. They booked it for a smaller arena that holds like 2,000 plus people. I read like a day or two later that they sold out the venue within a day. In fact, within hours, they sold it out. Guys, that's a sign, and that's a big sign that there are some very positive things going on in the developmental part of the WWE. The feud between Zayn and Owens, Adrian Neville. Even when they put guys like Tyson Kidd down there, I almost said and Justin Gabriel, but unfortunately he's no longer with the company. He And that's one you haven't heard a lot about. I might do a video on that, touching on that. Let's see. Because I haven't heard a lot about it. I heard that he left and they gave him his release or whatever. And I haven't heard anything else. I'm going to have to do some research if I do something on that. But just the fact that he was down at NXT with Tyson Kidd, you know, it's one of those things where NXT can really be a feather in a cap to some people not so much. So, Cesaro went down to NXT, had some matches with Sami Zayn, like match of the year matches. Brodus Clay, who is now Tyrus in TNA, went down there and had a few matches, a few rivalries, and then was gone from the company. So, yeah, it guess it just depends on who you are in the company is going to determine whether you going down to NXT is a good thing or not. On that same subject, Emma going down to NXT looks like, she did that. What was it? The shoplifting thing. Was it last year? Middle of last year, spring of last year, I think it was. And and ever since then, she's been pretty much off of TV. She was in the Total Divas for maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out with Paige. I haven't watched it a lot this season, but I don't think I've seen her in there at all. She certainly hasn't had any, chances at the Divas title. And when they interviewed her on this last episode of NXT, she did not seem too happy that she was going back down to NXT. Are these the final days of Emma? If it is, it's a shame. It's a shame that she screwed up and made that mistake, did what she did, because it certainly didn't help her reputation in the company. Because that's one thing that WWE hates is bad press. And someone bringing some kind of negativity to the company or saying bad things behind other people's backs or, running with the police. It's all bad juju for the company, and WWE tries to stay as much as positive as they can in the eyes of the stockholders and everyone else, the fans, everything. So is this going to be the final run of Emma? I'm going to wait and see. I'll tell you what, the knockouts division could certainly use someone like Emma. If they do decide to part ways, TNA is in desperate need of some new women on their roster. Because they just lost Velvet Sky. And I heard in the Feast or Fired thing. I haven't watched a lot of the new episodes of TNA, I'll admit. I watched the first one. I haven't watched the last few. But I heard that in that Feast or Fired, or whatever they call it, Velvet Sky is gone. Hey, with Bubba Ray Dudley showing up in the WWE, maybe there'll be a spot for Velvet Sky in the roster. Maybe. Would you fans like to see that? Velvet Sky showing up in NXT? Some of you TNA fans out there might say she doesn't deserve to be put into NXT. They should put her right in the main roster. Well, yeah. I wouldn't say she's the world's best, female wrestler, but, she does have talent. She is gorgeous. And if they bring Bubba in, they might be able to sway the guys in the office to bring her in. One friend of mine said they won't bring her in unless they bring in God, what's her name? The other half of the beautiful people. Oh, Angelina Love. That they wouldn't bring her in unless they had brought them in as a group. I don't know. I never thought much of her either, but they might. So yeah, lots of stuff happening down at NXT. Just wanted to make a video touching on that. This is not necessarily a preview for the next big show that they're doing. I just wanted to touch on some things. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about the NXT product? What do you think about the rivalry between Owens and Zayn, the tag division, the NXT women's match that's coming up? Any thoughts on that? Put them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.